Namaste, welcome. I'm looking forward to this practice. So our practice today is the blue moon in Taurus practice. We have a full moon on Saturday, 31st of October. So this practice will be working with the energy of the full moon. It's a hunter's moon at this time of year, and we have a blue moon, which means that this is the second full moon in the same month. So this is a very rare and magical occurrence. It is also coinciding with Hallows Eve and Samhain, the Celtic festival of Samhain, which is often celebrated by the Wiccan and pagan communities. So we'll be bringing all of that energy into our practice today, which is why I'm wearing orange and black for Samhain. Samhain literally means the month of November, and it starts on the 1st of November, but celebrations for that happen on the 31st. It is said to be the turning point of the year. So it's the sort of cross quarter of the year. It's when it's the end of harvest and the beginning of winter. With this full moon in Taurus, we're going to be working with the energy of the earth element. Taurus is the sign of the bull, and it's connected to the element of earth. So we're going to be honoring all of the qualities that we invoke when we work with earth energy, and the qualities that we work with when we invoke and draw down the full moon energy of illumination, of lighting up. And we'll also be bringing in elements of Samhain, when it is said that it's part of the cycle of life and death. And this period is the thin veil between the earthly realm and the otherworldly realm, when we honor our ancestors, when we honor all those who have passed. So we're moving into a dark time ahead. The full moon light will guide us through this period. Let's bring your hands into Mudra, earth element mudra. So fold in your ring, little finger to thumb, and extend your peace fingers, your index and middle finger, and have them pointing down towards the earth. Very grounding, earthing mudra. Closing your eyes or gazing down towards the earth, softening here. And begin to trace the journey of your breath. And imagine that your breath is a thin, whispery, almost translucent quality, like the veil, the floating veil, the veil that separates, the veil that allows travelers to journey from one realm into the other. It is also the veil that we can lift to connect with the deeper, darker truth within us, from a place of stability and security. So this journey that we're taking towards and into the darkness, into the shadows, looking at what is buried deep within us, looking at what is in our past, our ancestral family past. And yet we are within the safe sanctuary of the earth element, within home of our own bodies. I invite some vritti pranayama, equal count breath, also known as square breath. As you breathe in, visualize traveling the length of one side of this square for the count of 4. Holding the breath in for the count of 4 along another side of the square. Exhaling for the count of 4 along the third side of your square. And then holding the breath out along the fourth side of your square. The square is reminiscent of the muladhara chakra at the root, at the base. So when we're working with the earth element, we're working with our root chakra. And here we can visualize a red square. Inhale one side of the square, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in for the second side of your square, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, third side of your square, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out for this fourth side of your square, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's journey around this square, representing the root chakra, muladhara. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final time round the square, tracing your breath. Inhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release some vritti pranayama, square breath or equal count breath. Take a full breath in. Allow your breath to fill your abdomen. Allow the breath to travel to the very root, the base of your spine. And then as you exhale, release the breath from the root, the base of your spine, down into the center of the earth. Inhale, drawing the breath all the way down the length of your spine, filling your abdomen to the root. Then exhale to release into the earth. On your next inhale, bring your hands in namaskar at the heart center. Opening our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Let's chant for the moon, the earth, and our ancestors in the other realm. Inhale fully. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Hands to your eyebrow center. Namaste and welcome, yogis, to our practice. Drawing in full moon, the earth energies and the energy of Samhain. the Celtic traditional celebration, marking the end of autumn and the beginning of winter, and a turning point in the year. For Wiccans, marking the beginning of the new year. Let's start immediately by tucking our toes underneath us and coming into Vajrasana, hero's pose. So have your toes tucked underneath you. Just to start with, let's plant our hands on the earth, tuck your toes in, and if you need to pad your knees, please fold a blanket, pad your knees, or place a blanket underneath. We're going to just lift our knees slightly so that we push the weight back onto the balls of the feet. That might work for you. Another option for you is to come up a little bit more upright and then come up onto the balls of your feet. Just to connect here with the feet and the earth. So just take a moment here. And I like to lift and lower my knees just so that I can roll through my toes here. And then let's untuck the toes. Inhale, reach overhead. Bring your ring and little finger to touch your thumb, your index and middle in a V shape. As you exhale, let's draw our arms down towards the earth. Got a little bit of space for myself. So that the tips of your index and middle finger are on the earth here as well. Breathe into your side body. Perhaps your head rests on the earth or is slightly lifted above the earth. Yogi's choice. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to flow with our breath for 3 cycles. Inhaling to rise up. Reach up, reach up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to rise. So to rise, draw your navel in towards the spine so that your core is engaged. And then twice more with our mudra down towards the earth. This is the second round. Inhale for the third round. Exhale to lower. Take a moment here. And now we're going to walk our hands all the way over to the left. So we create a crescent shape with our upper body and arms. So extend here. You'll feel a lateral stretch on the right side and a slight constriction on the left side. So walk your hands as far over as you can go. One breath here. Inhale through center over to the right side. And I'm going to move over to the edge of my mat so I've got more space. And I'm maintaining my Bhu Mudra, my Earth Mudra. Earth element. Bhu means earth. And here we're creating a crescent shape, beginning to create some of this, thinking about these curves. So although we started with square breath, connecting with the curves, the roundness of the earth, the moon. Inhale back to center. Press into your palms, releasing your mudra, rise up on your knees here. So we'll be here for a moment. Let me just tuck myself in a little bit so I'm more respectable. Take a moment here. Let's do 3 rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, you're lifting your heart. As you exhale, you're rounding through your spine. And then I invite you to do 1 cycle with your toes tucked. And 1 cycle with your toes untucked. And then see how that changes the experience in your body. Our mudra for today is Om Som Somaya Namaha, invoking the illumination and the fullness, the sweet nectar of the moon. Som is nectar, this nectar of the moon. Coming back to stillness. Let's reach out long with our right leg. Tuck the toe, reach out through that right leg. Stabilize through the earth. So connecting here with the earth energy. Fortitude, resilience, strength. The sign of Taurus has strength, represented by the bull. Lift your right leg. Take a moment here. Either keep both hands on the earth or reach forward with your left arm coming into your mudra. Have your palm face down. Little finger and ring finger touching thumb, peace fingers, the index and middle extended. One breath here. Drop your right toe. Inhale, reach up. Circle your left arm all the way around, coming back to the front. Take a moment here, then exhale, left hand to the earth, tuck, bring the right knee to the earth, extend the opposite leg long. So left leg long now, reach out through the heel. Connect through your hands, the ball of that left foot, the knee and shin of the right leg. Take a moment here, and then you can keep both hands on the earth, or you can bring your right, lift your right left leg and lift your right arm. So you can be balanced here in two places. One more breath here. Drop the left ball of the foot onto the earth, and then circle with the right arm all the way. Om Som Somaya Namaha. And then release the hand to the earth. Take a moment here. So let's bring your knees back underneath you into table. So I'm going to ask you to bring your right knee up towards your right wrist. And then take your right toes just in front of your left knee. And then come down to sit on your sit bones so that you create a little zigzag here. Let's bring that left ankle a bit closer to the left sit bone. So if you look down on your legs, you'll have a bit of a zigzag. We're moving into, so you'll know this is deer pose. Saitali Asana. Turn your heart over to the right. And then exhale, fold down towards the earth here. Extend your arms long. Your eyebrow center may be resting on the earth. You may be lifted a little bit. You also have the option of placing a blanket or a cushion underneath your eyebrow center. This is Saitali Asana. Saitali Asana. So you'll feel this deep in your hips. Now have the sense of grounding here. In this full moon, this blue moon, on the cusp of Samhain, this is a time to, a potent time, to go into deep inner exploration, to dig deep, look at what's buried beneath the layers, what's behind the veil, and then connect with our inner power, endurance, strength. Draw upon that power and strength from our ancestors, from those who have passed. In honoring and remembering them, we invoke this personal power and connection we inherit from those ancestors. One breath here on this side. Inhale, rise with your crown, walk your hands back towards you, counter twist over to the left just for a moment. And then let's sweep our arms around, come back onto our knees and shins, and then take your right knee back And then let's bring that left knee into the left wrist. Left toes just in front of the right knee. And then again, let's sit on our sit bones here. So now the other way. So I'm going to turn around so you can see me. So you might want to bring that right foot a little bit closer to your right hip, right sit bone. Turn over to the left here. And then as you exhale, let's fold down towards the earth. Again, you can have your hands in your earth element mudra, Bhu Mudra. This is a time that we can transition. So both in terms of when transition from one world to the other, this is a time that travelers can move between the two. We become much more closely aware and sensitized to the cycle of life and death, and how we are an integral part of the relationship of how we move through nature, through these cycles of nature, dissolution and then regeneration. As we move into the midst of winter, when the land looks bleak and barren, inhale to rise up. Walk your hands towards your body. Exhale to counter twist over to the right. The earth begins to look bleak and barren, and the ground is hard and fallow. Deep down in the depths of darkness, growth is taking place. Spring, the earth is preparing for spring. Let's come back into our table. So take your hands over to the left, rise up onto your knees and shins. So you're back in your table. I'll turn around because I did a little swivel, didn't I? Take a moment here. Tuck your toes, walk your hands back towards you. Come onto your toes. Let's take your feet as wide as the mat. So you're coming into Malasana here for a moment. Now remember, yogis, here, you could be sitting on blocks or a low footstool, like so. You could be sitting directly on the earth, if you don't have those blocks available, with your feet on the earth and just hugging your knees towards you. Or you can be crouching. Find your place, find what's accessible to you. So Malasana, this is a deeply rooting posture. Bring your hands in Namaskar at the heart moment. To create some space for myself. Take a moment here. Breathing deeply. So know that part of this journey is about reaching the sense of home. And as we know, at home, that is a place where we can be most vulnerable. We can be ourselves. We feel safe. And that home may not be a physical home. It may be your emotional space that you retreat to. One more breath here in Malasana, wherever you are. Now I'm going to invite you to lift your foot and place, and this is just check how you feel here. So place your fingertips fingers underneath the arch of your foot, and then do the same with the other foot, and see how you feel here. This may feel really destabilizing for you, in which case keep your hands on the earth in your Bhu Mudra maybe. So if you're wearing your wedding rings, you might need to take them off. One breath here. Now we're going to rise from here with our sit bones up into the air. So we're going to move slowly. You can have your hands on the earth, or you can straighten through your legs. And you might want to turn your toes forward. Keep your fingers underneath the arches of your feet. This is your forward fold here. So you'll notice that my feet are very wide. My hands, my fingers, more of my hands are under the arches of my feet. I can have a deep bend in my knees if I so wish. And then I soften and relax my crown. If that feels too far, keep your fingers on the earth, or place your fingers on your shins or the back of your legs so that your hands are connected with something solid. This is Vayu Nishkasan. So feel where the rise and fall of your breath is here. Now let's see if we can bend more deeply into our knees and come back down to our squat. And again, use your hands on the earth to steady yourself. Inhale to rise with your sit bones towards the sky. Crown reaching down towards the earth. Exhale, bend into your knees, coming down into your squat. One more time. Inhale, lift your tailbone, crown heading down towards the earth. Exhale back into your squat. So this process of rising and falling here. Vayu Nishkasan. Inhale, rise one more time. Release your hands if they're underneath your feet. Turn your toes forward. Perhaps you heel toe them a little bit closer. And then let's unfurl our spine, one vertebrae at a time, to come up to standing head. Last thing to come up. So standing here in Tadasana. Lift your toes, place them on the earth one by one. Connect with the earth. Bend into your knees, really feel that solid connection between you. Know that when we step into the darkness, when we step into the shadows, into this dark season that's coming ahead, it may require us to have greater courage, might require us to have more resilience and strength, fortitude of the earth below us. So this moon is illuminating that path for us that we are going to navigate in the dark. And we draw upon the earth's strength to see us forward, knowing that there's hope and optimism at the end of this journey. Inhale, reach your arms above your head in your Mudra. Perhaps you gaze up for a moment, up towards the moon, a symbol of hope and light during the winter months. Bring your hands together. So take your left hand around your left hand round your right wrist. We're going to Chandralasana here. So exhale over to the left. One more breath here. Inhale, center. Swap hands, so right hand around your left wrist this time. And I have my left hand in my Mudra. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's step to the bottom of our mat. So I'm on the left-hand side of my mat so that we can see the full length of our mat. So we're going to do Chandra Namaskar flow, honoring the full moon, invoking the sweet nectar, the illuminating light of the moon. And we'll add in some earth element practice to this. So at the bottom of your mat, if you are, Let's come into our Tadasana. We're going to start with tree pose and then Garudasana before we make the journey. So we're adding in the variation to our Chandra Namaskar flow. Shift the weight into your left leg. Find something on the horizon that's not going to move. I'll come to the middle of my mat so you can see me, but you stay at the top of, at the bottom end of your mat. Lift the right heel. So you can come onto your left ankle. You can bring it to your shin, or you can tuck it into your thigh. So focus on what's not going to move here. I'm going to have my hands in Bhu element, Bhu Mudra. So I'm going to open out my arms, and whenever you're ready, you can have your hands at your heart, at your hips, or you can open out your arms. Keep turning that right knee out wherever you are. So you'll be in one of three places with your legs, and your arms will either be in the air or on your hands at hips or hands in Namaskar at the heart. Yogi's choice. Vrikshasana. Feel grounded, stable here. Root through the lower body, rise with the upper body. This root to rise journey. This journey that we're taking. And in the winter and on Samhain, we light up white candles, place them in the window, place them on our altar to guide the spirits, to guide the travelers along the dark road. We light fire at the hearth to warm us through this season of coldness. One more breath here. Bring your hands to your heart or to your hips. Now this right leg is going to cross all the way over the left knee. Now you can wrap the toes round the bottom of your calf, or you can bring your toes to the earth. So the Garudasana legs, wherever you are. Again, let's take the right elbow underneath the left, so the left elbow is on top. You can have hands on your shoulders, backs of hands together, or you wrap your fingers around into eagle. So this pose, even though it's called eagle Garudasana, is a very grounding pose because most of the work is being done in the lower body. We are balancing and connecting with the earth to find our secure and stable foundation. One breath more here. As you exhale, unwrap your arms, open them out wide, uncross your leg and step across your mat into Tadasana star pose. So you'll have been here and you just step across your mat, open out wide. Have your toes pointing forward for the moment to take up space here. Allow the shadows to be lit up by your inner beauty, your inner light, the radiant self that you are. Turn your toes out. Exhale into Devyasana, goddess pose. One breath here. Om Som Somaya Namaha. So take up space here, the fullness of the moon. One breath here. Inhale to rise into Tadasana. Exhale into Devyasana, goddess. Inhale to rise. Exhale to bend deeply at the knees. One more time. Inhale to rise. Let's turn the right toes to the right top of the mat. Take a moment here. Hinge over. Exhale, right hand to the inside of the leg. Left hand reaches up, or you can bring it to your hips. Triangle pose here. Keep spiraling your heart up towards the sky. Take your gaze up towards the sky. As we do this deep work of looking at all and reflecting on all that we have buried, perhaps shame, fear, guilt, that we have suppressed. This is a time to uncover, unveil. One more breath. Bend into your right knee. Turn the left toes and turn to the top of your mat, moving into Warrior One. Virabhadrasana, bend into your right knee. So remember to turn and angle the left toes so they're at a 45-degree angle. Bend into that right knee. Reach up with your arms. I've got my mudra here. And when you have your Bhu Mudra, this way it looks like a victory sound, victory sign. One more breath. Exhale, open out into Virabhadrasana 2, Maha Virabhadrasana, the great warrior. Keep turning that right knee out. Feel your strength here. Your determination. So remember, the portal we are entering now is a portal into inner exploration from a place of strength, a process of self-realization from a place of resilience and courage. One more breath here. From here, we're going to move into Warrior 3. So you might need your blocks or your footstool at the top of your mat. So if you have those handy, position them so that they're ready for you to reach for with your hands. So you might have them at a high setting or a low setting, or large books. And if you're close to furniture, you can always use your sofa or the end of your bed to rest your hands on. Your gaze is over the middle right finger. Cartwheel the left arm up and over. Bring your hands to your blocks. Turn onto the ball of your left foot, a little hop, and lift your left leg behind you. And when you feel steady here, you can either keep your hands connected to whatever it is that's stabilizing you, or you can bring your hands to your heart space in Namaskar. Crown reaching forward. Left toes energized. One more breath here. Bring your hands to the earth. We're going to move into half moon pose, Ardha Chandralasana. So keep your right hand on the earth or on your block. Bring your left hand onto your left hip and begin to spiral your heart sideways. And then flex your foot. You can stay here, or you can reach up and over with your left arm. Remember, your right hand can be resting and supported by any props or furniture you have available, even the wall. One more breath. Turn your gaze down and let's bring the left foot to meet the right foot. Release your blocks and let's take our hands, let's take our feet wide. Place our hands underneath the arches of the feet or on the backs of the legs. And drop your crown down towards the earth, tailbone reaching up for a moment. Full breath here. Release your hands. Begin to unfurl your spine, perhaps you heel toe your feet a little bit closer, rising up into Tadasana. Turn, or you can stay there where you are. We're going to move into Chandralasana before we move into tree pose on this side. So reach overhead. Take hold of the left wrist with the right fingers. Bring your left hand into Bhu Mudra. Reach up and then exhale over to the right. Inhale to center, swap hands. Let's exhale over to the other side, to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, hands to your heart. Som Somaya Namaha. May the full light of the moon guide me in my journey when I seek to discover self-truths. And I look deep within to observe and let go of what needs releasing, coming into your Tadasana. And we're going to do our tree pose, Vrikshasana, followed by Garudasana. So shift the weight to your right leg. Find your vritti, something that's not going to move on the wall ahead of you. Shifting the weight into your right leg. Hands can be at your hips for balance. Bring the left heel to the right ankle. Perhaps you bring it onto the shin, or perhaps you bring it to the inner thigh. So find your stable point here. And your hands again can be on your hips, at your heart center, or you can open out your arms. In your Vrikshasana. Muladhara chakra, our root chakra. This is what connects the tree, the roots of the tree, connect it to the earth, the history of the earth. Just in that way, our Muladhara chakra, this pose Vrikshasana, this connects us to the earth and to our ancestors, our family. Cross that right leg over the left. You can bring the toes to the earth, or you can wrap the toes, the left toes, bring the right, wrap the left toes around it. So I'm going to find my drishti, find your balance, and then let's bring the right arm above the left arm, hands on shoulders, backs of hands together. So if you don't find your balance the first time, and my balance always goes a little bit wobbly during the cycles of the moon, when we have a new moon. So rebalance, find your drishti, and keep looking at that spot that's not going to move. Lift your crown. Our right arm on top of the left arm, backs of hands together, or fingertips on your palm. Garudasana, eagle pose. One more breath. Then open out your arms and let's step across the mat into Tadasana, star pose. One breath here. Take up space. Illuminate all of the space around you. Turn out your toes. Bend into your knees, Devyasana, goddess pose. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do Mudra here. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, Devyasana. Inhale, Tadasana, star pose. One more time, Devyasana, exhaling in. Rise up. Let's turn the left toes to the back of the mat now. Hinge across. This right hand come onto your hip if you want, and then bring these left fingertips onto your left leg, onto the earth, onto block. So you could have your block here. Spiral your heart up towards the sky, and then you can reach up and overhead with this right arm. Yogi's choice. Maybe you gaze up towards the light of the moon. Om Som Somaya Namaha. Om Som Somaya Namaha. One more breath here in Trikonasana. Bend into your left knee. And let's turn those right toes forward. We're going to rise into Warrior One. Virabhadrasana. So remember to angle those right toes, 45-degree angle. Bend into your left knee. Turn your hips so they face the short end of your mat. the planet that governs Taurus is Venus, the planet for love. And during winter, during these dark, long nights, find time for self-care, to nourish, to revitalize. Just when as the field lies fallow, it is so that the next season's growth can be more rich, more abundant. So this time is an opportunity for us to prepare for spring. Open out into Warrior 2, Mahavirabhadrasana. Gaze over the middle left finger. One more breath here. So this is where we're going to transition into Warrior 3. So have your blocks ready, or your low footstool, or position yourself so you're near your furniture or the wall. Let's cartwheel this right arm up and over onto the earth or onto your blocks. Pivot on the ball of your left foot. And then when you're ready, inhale to lift that left leg. The right leg rather. You're balancing on your left leg. Your fingers can stay on the earth or on your blocks. I'm going to create myself some space. You can bring them to your heart center. Crown reaching forward. Right toes pointed behind. Right leg energized. Perhaps you're making micro movements on your left foot. One more breath here. And then let's bring the left fingertips to the earth or onto the wall or your block, and right hand onto your hip. Spiral your heart to the side. Flex your right foot. And then reach up with your right arm. That left hand can be on the earth, on blocks, on a stool, chair, any furniture or the wall. One more breath here. And when you're ready, bend into that right leg and bring the right foot next to the left. Forward fold here, Uttanasana. And let's go into this variation where we take our feet slightly wide apart and place our fingers underneath the arches of our feet or on the backs of our legs or fronts of our legs. Crown reaching down, tailbone reaching up. Releasing your hands. Perhaps you heel toe slightly closer. And then unfurl your spine, one vertebrae at a time, to rise up to standing Tadasana. Back where we started, the top of our mat. Take a moment here. Som Somaya Namaha. I welcome the fullness of the moon, the sweet nectar of the moon, to enrich and nourish me during this fallow, barren, bleak, dark time that we may have during winter, knowing that I have the fortitude and the resilience with which to move through this time. I draw upon the relationship of my ancestors, those who have passed. One more breath here. Let's take your feet wide. We're going to come into Malasana, so take your feet as wide as you want. You can come to the middle of your mat or just at the top of your mat, wherever you are. And then let's bend in, turn your toes out, and then bend into your knees. And coming into your yogi squat, your Malasana. Let's place our fingertips on the earth, our peace fingers in our Mudra. Take one moment here. This time I invite you to take your hands to the outer edges of your feet. Take a moment there, really connect with your feet. And then back to the inner edges of your feet. So pay your feet lots of attention over the next few days. And then let's release our hands and come to the earth. Take a moment here. And then let's lower down to the earth. And we're going to take happy baby here before we come into lying down twist. So Ananda Balasana. Hug in your knees. Gently roll on your lower back. Take your arms through the middle of your knees, and your hands can go either to the outside edges of your feet, or if that feels too far away, you can bring your hands to the back of your thighs. You can also double bind your arms so that you can take hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. Lift your soles of your feet up towards the sky. Have a deep bend in your knees. Nanda Balasana, happy baby. So here you are connecting with the fullness of the moon. As we move through the next few days and nights, when dark mysteries are unveiled, both within us and both in the season, rather than hiding away completely or hiding from the shadows, from the darkness, embrace, accept, welcome it as a time for nourishing, replenishing, building abundance deep down within. A time to connect with ancestral heritage, with the earth and the earth story. One more breath here in Ananda Balasana. Release your hands. Keep that bend in your knees. Bring your knees together and open out your arms so you can have your arms in a T shape or cactus shape. And then let's drop the knees over to the left. Supta Matsyendrasana. Seek to maintain a connection as much as you can between the right shoulder and the earth. Som Somaya Namaha. Drawing upon the feminine, magical energy of the moon, upon which we may wish, upon which we may gaze. In a dark night, the light of the moon inspires us. Know that this is a potent time for transformation, both seasonally and within you, biologically, emotionally. Connect with this practice to find security and stability as we move through the winter months, this very yin-like season, so this yin-like practice, but from a place of strength, fortitude, and practical earthly energy. One more breath here, and then inhale your knees to center. Hug them in for a moment, and then let's release them over to the right side. Have your arms open or in a T shape or cactus arms. I'm wearing my black tourmaline today. This is for grounding, earthing. Citrine for abundance. And perhaps if you have rose quartz for love, self-care. One full breath here on this side. Inhale to center, hug your knees in. And you can rest in Shavasana, or you can choose to rise with me. If you choose to rest in Shavasana, stay here for at least 5 minutes. If you are rising up with me now, please roll over onto one side and come up slowly. And when you're seated, bring your Mudra, earth element mudra, by folding in the ring and little finger to the thumb, extending the index and middle finger into a V shape. Closing your eyes, counting the breath, 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out, 4 counts hold. Om Som Somaya Namaha. Om Som Somaya Namaha. Om Som Somaya Namaha. Hands to the heart. Om Shanti to the moon. Shanti to the earth. Shanti for you and your ancestors. Dhanyavad. Thank you, yogis, for joining me. Beautiful practice. We will be doing a variation on this same practice on Saturday, the 31st, which is actually Samhain and the full moon. So, hey, let's work this vibe over the next few days. Thank you, yogis. If you're on YouTube, please